let's see. At Vengeance, I would have Awesome Truth cause a ref bump in their match with Air Boom. I'd want Air Boom to kind of get the upper hand after the ref bump, but there wouldn't be anybody to count. And then, obviously, one of them would try to wake up the ref, and then they get double teamed, and then I'd have Awesome Truth win it 1, 2, 3, and take the belts, because I want to establish that this Cena World Order that's got Awesome Truth and Nash and Cena in it is there to dominate. I think that that's important. They did it with DX. We can do it over again with this stable, and enhance the product and enhance those superstars by giving them a belt. I'd have Dolph and Swagger get enough time to actually wrestle, because I think that this could be an entertaining match for us fans that like wrestling, and people that don't want to just see stupid ass endings to matches like in 3 minutes. I'd have Vicky Guerrero distract the ref while Swagger cheats. So obviously this pay-per-view already is very heavy with cheating and heels getting over. I'd have Swagger walk away the U.S. champ. This would put more division between Vicky and Dolph, and I think it would start to get the crowd behind Ziggler because he gets screwed. But that's just my opinion. Whatever. The next match I would do would be the three-way dance of the two Sin Caras versus Daniel Bryan. And I would want this thing to be absolutely nuts. I would want to see spots everywhere. I'd want to see them fighting all throughout the crowd. I'd want to see high-flying moves outside the ring, inside the ring, whatever. Take it all around the arena, dude. Back into the locker room even, back to the ring, back outside the ring, through announce tables. Just destroy stuff. And I'd want it to feel like orchestrated mayhem, wherein it's not just mayhem in general, but, it looks like, holy crap, like they're really pulling out all the stops. I'd want it to be reminiscent of when Rock and Mankind brawled all over the arena, if you remember that. And then I'd have both Sin Caras doing, like, amazing spots. But ultimately, I'd want it to come back to the ring so that Daniel Bryan could win it clean in the middle via submission and just reinforce that he is the guy coming out of this on top, and fuck Sin Cara and this bullshit storyline of Sin Cara versus Sin Cara. I think that'd be the best way to go. That's how I would book it. Remember, this is how I would book it, so if your opinion differs, leave comments below. That's the best way to, have some kind of discussion about this sort of stuff. Anyway, so we're still on Vengeance, and the next match would be the Intercontinental title match. And I'd make this go for a little while, and I'd put Cody Rhodes even on the receiving end of some nasty moves, but I'd have him keep kicking out, or like finding the ropes for a break. And eventually, this would cause DiBiase to get really frustrated, and I'd have Cody Rhodes like put 2 and 2 together and start taking advantage of this. Like Cody would go outside the ring, and Ted would come and chase him. And then at the right moment, Cody would turn around and just like waffle him, just nail him with something. And then I'd have him, hurry back in the ring, and the ref would count to 10, and Rhodes would win via count out. And this would make it look, not necessarily like a totally I whipped your ass match, but it would make Rhodes the winner still, and it would make him look smart. And it might even continue the feud between DiBiase and Rhodes later on at some point. Sheamus versus Christian. Now, I know this is going to be a good match just on the fact that they're both good workers. And at this pay-per-view, since in Hell in a Cell I had Christian win dirty, I would have Sheamus get the push here, and I would want him to win. I'd want it to be a clean win. I wouldn't want any drama associated with it. I don't want any run-ins. I don't want any weapons. I don't want any ref bumps. I just want a clean victory in the middle of the ring. And I think that would do just numbers. Just absolutely put Sheamus over, over Christian, and make it look like he is a real competitor. Somebody that just didn't win the world title or the WWE Championship twice, on a fluke or something. Make him look like he deserves to be in that main event scene. The Jinder Mahal versus Khali match. I'd want that to be up the card. I'm not really sure where, but I wouldn't want this match to really open up the show. I think that if you put it towards the end, you drive home the fact that it's not a filler match, you know, that it's got a lot of meaning behind it. Sometimes, you know, we give the feud extra meaning by putting it toward the end of the card. I'm one of those people that thinks that the card structure of a pay-per-view is really important to the psychology of the pay-per-view. Like, so I want to showcase what Mahal can do, and I want to be, you know, have one of the last memories on your mind of the pay-per-view. Obviously, you're not going to see this after the titles are defended, the WWE Championship and the Heavyweight title. But if you put it right before that, people will go, oh, okay, well, that was the last match before the titles. Obviously, you know, Mahal would have to get Khali down to his level. So the only way to fight him would be to take out his legs. You know, focus on the knees, focus on his ankles, do something. And maybe he'd get a hold of the legs and start doing submissions or something. You know, just wearing him down, whatever tactics he could do to keep him on the ground. I'd have Khali, you know, power out a couple of times, but I'd have Jinder right back on the attack, you know, showing that he's faster, showing that he's using his speed. Because, I mean, Khali is deathly slow to begin with, and he needs somebody that can really capitalize on that, you know, so that the person that does capitalize on that will look a lot stronger. Towards the end of the match, I'd want Khali's sister to come down to the ring. You know, the sister in this whole storyline that's been stupid and boring from the beginning. Well, let's put her in this damn thing and make it mean something. Let's make it personal. I'd have Khali obviously distracted while Mahal pulled out like some brass knucks or something and just hit him right in the face. And the win would obviously go to Jinder Mahal, who would leave with Khali's sister, and the feud would go on, you know, obviously not end there. Big Show that just came back, you know, the SmackDown or whatever before the pay-per-view would, you know, clash with Mark Henry for the world title, and it would just be the Battle of Giants, and it would be probably a decent match. I'd want it to look like an even match, kind of like back and forth-ish, but I want Henry to go over, and I want him to go over not, you know, on a fluke. I'd want him to go over like, yeah, I beat you again. What's next? The main event? Okay, so Punk versus Cena. And before Punk gets going, I'd have Cena cut a promo once he gets to the ring. You know, and just this is to reinforce that he is a bad guy for real. Like, this turn wasn't just meaningless. And I'd have him go at it for about 7-8 minutes before the first stable member, R-Truth, would run down to the ring. You know, this whole Cena World Order we're going for here. And, you know, Punk would, you know, knock him out pretty quickly and get back into it with Cena. And then after a few more minutes, I'd have Miz run out, you know, and try to cause a distraction. And then have Punk knock him the hell out, too. And, you know, Punk would really look like he's strong, like he's not going to take anybody's shit. And then after a few more minutes, or maybe another minute or so, Awesome Truth would pull the ref out of the ring after a 2 count or something. Like, Punk would have, you know, Cena going to sleep, and then they pull the ref out. And then I'd have Kevin Nash run down, and Punk would be all over him. He'd be really mad. They'd start to brawl on the outside. The whole fucking thing would deteriorate. The whole faction would be beaten up on CM Punk. And then we'd have Triple H's music hit. And Triple H, who was out of commission for a little bit, this would be his return. And he'd come back out with a sledgehammer in hand and a new referee. And he'd drive off, you know, the Cena World Order, the bad guys, Awesome Truth and Nash, and he'd restart the match, and then he'd chase the rest of them to the backstage area because he'd be pissed. And then, so Punk and Cena would restart the match for the title, and I think that's important because now it's one-on-one again with a new ref. But obviously Cena would be the fresher man, and I'd have him catch Punk, you know, in the middle of the ring with the STF. But I wouldn't have Punk tap. I would just have him pass out from the pain. I'd have Cena retain. The next night on Raw, we'd open the show with this new stable, you know, with the Cena World Order in the ring. And they'd have some champagne. And they'd be toasting to how Cena's the champ and how Awesome Truth is the tag champs. And they start talking about how the only thing that they need to make it any sweeter would be like if they had the U.S. Championship in their possession. And then I would want somebody to like wink at the camera, you know, and kind of hint that that's like a plan for down the road or something, you know, to make this stable bigger, or to, you know, give Nash a title or something, just to, you know, focus on, we want all the power. But then I'd have CM Punk's music hit, and he'd come out saying that, you know, it took 4 guys to beat him up, and that's not really how, you know, the title match should go. And then, you know, like, they'd totally make fun of him for being a crybaby. And, you know, like, wah, boo-hoo, you know, you didn't win, so what? You know, and Cena would be like, I'm still the champ. And I'd have Punk say that he should have seen it coming, but he's not even mad, you know, like, it's not about the title. It's that he's got bigger plans for all 4 of them. And he proposes that they all settle it like men by assembling their teams of 4. And he'll see him at Survivor Series. And I think that that would really drive home the fact that it's not about the title, that now it's just really personal between Punk and all of those members of the Cena World Order. And I keep saying the Cena World Order, but I mean, you can come up with a better name for that. But I mean, like, really, that'd be a good stable to have. Obviously, Cena, Nash, and Awesome Truth are the one team of 4. If anybody's not, you know, with that right now, I'm sorry. I am going a little fast.